To the dark side. That's all I gotta say. Once you start, you will never go back. Brown belt, purple belt. Oh yeah, you guys are ready on the dark side. I hear 30 minutes ago. Blue and Friday night. So you're blue belt and you trained on Friday night. You trained yesterday. Awesome. Good work, team. That's fantastic. Let me see. Black belt. Awesome. We're twins. A lot of black belts on today. That's super exciting. The cool kids. Black belt. Black belt is goals. Pretty much. Pretty much. When I was a white belt, I was like, I'd always watch the black belt females training. It's the cool Canadian yogi grappler. Yeah, that's me. That's me. Just hearing all about everybody's jiu-jitsu lives and what belt they are. I got a purple. Abby Dabby, what time is it there? Yeah, I got another purple belt. What time is it in Abu Dhabi? Here in Canada, it's 8:39 a.m. I hear that, I think it's true. I hear it's the most common. Purple belt is the hardest belt to get and the hardest belt to get rid of. And I think it's true. I think it's a super hard belt where you begin to develop your jiu-jitsu. And then once you get brown, it's like, you're pretty much a black. 8:39 p.m. So I'm 8:39 a.m. So you are, and for you it's probably Monday. Are you in the future? What's the future like? I feel like you're farther enough across the world that you're tomorrow. Today's my Sunday, and it's probably your Monday. The higher the belt, the heavier the injuries are, I've heard. You know what? It is true and it isn't. Like, it's like anything. If you take care of your body, then you'll be okay. Yeah, Wally Mama's in the future. And I found I started yoga for jiu-jitsu at late purple belt, and it helped me so incredibly much. I've actually been studying, it's really crazy interesting, but the difference between the flow yoga, like the faster flows that we really like, and then the slow yoga, and they actually target two completely different things. They target two completely different things. So the flow, the more of the flows and the big stretches target the what's called the superficial muscles, the bigger ones, which are the quads, the hamstrings, the shoulders. You'll feel that, and that's really important to stretch. Then, and you think of how much we use all of that again in jiu-jitsu, right? Like, you really feel it, standing guard passes or whatever, you feel those quads starting to burn. So it's important to do the other side of it and stretch them and take care of them. And the longer, like the really slow yoga, the one that I tend to do on Saturday mornings, the really slow one, with poses that are held for 3 to 5 minutes, actually target the connective tissue, which are the ligaments, the tendons, and the fascia. And that is also really important. So people are like, oh, I'm super stiff. Yeah, it can be the quads and hamstrings, but it might be the connective tissue in there too. So with the slower poses held for 3 to 5 minutes, you want to do certain type of poses. You don't want to do all the poses because not all the yoga poses will work in there. You don't want to be doing standing poses, warrior 2 or something for 5 minutes because that becomes a strengthening pose. Oh, Brazil? What time is it in Brazil? I always interrupt myself. I always make fun of, actually, our tech guy makes fun of me because I'm always talking, and then I read your guys' comments and I talk back and forth, so I always interrupt myself. It's so interesting. So today's live class, I'm pretty excited about. It is a yoga for boulders, and honestly, it's for people that are a little bit bigger. Like, I have a couple friends whose one's a black belt, one's a brown belt, and they're just really big powerhouses, and the normal flows just don't feel good for them yet because they're stiff, right? Especially if you're carrying around that weight and muscle, you just get really stiff. So the yoga for boulders has been created for them too. And oh, France. Wow, we got everyone on. So the yoga for boulders has been created for them too, to get everything moving. And I even really enjoy doing it if I'm super stiff. If I'm really, really stiff, or if I haven't done yoga for a couple days, then I'm like, oh, it kind of hurts to move a little bit. And today's class, and you guys can also like Send over any questions you have too. Send over questions you have about stretching. Oh, wow. Yeah, you know what? Today's program is really good for beginners. Yeah, it's perfect. So you'll be okay. You'll be safe. I don't do anything crazy. The arm balances are all at 'em. So, are there any sessions on the app that hold those longer poses? I've been doing the yoga for BJJ a few weeks. Never even feeling better for it. So thank you. You know what? If you go into the filters, just search Sarah. So my job was to do the slower held classes and the slower poses. So look me up and then you'll see my videos. I always think the earlier ones are a bit more painful, but you know, when everyone's just getting all nervous, starting to stream and stuff, but all of them are really, really good sequences. All of them are there. I usually do my favorites. So jump on the app, search Sarah or low intensity as a filter. Have you ever been sore from yoga? It's a really good question. Long Beach, California. Oh, I love it there. It's so warm. In Canada, we're in the minuses right now. I have been sore from yoga for more of the challenging flows. So that's when I've gotten sore. And especially when I started the shoulders, like moving into down dog. Like if I'm boom, hands and feet, hips up and back. Now when I started this, you're really using the shoulders a lot, right? Moving from down dog and plank, lowering to the ground. Like that's a lot of shoulders, so stuff like that. And I'm also working on strengthening the back because in jiu-jitsu and life, the back is constantly like forward flexion, that's what it's called. And I also come from a Muay Thai background, so that's a lot of forward flexion. So I'm working on countering that. So sometimes my back does get a little bit sore, but it feels good. And do mobility after or before strength workout. So mobility, do you mean stretching? And give me a little bit more information on that. Mobility or stretching? So what I would say is, what I do is I do a warm-up. I do a really good warm-up. Like we have our yoga for jiu-jitsu warm-up, which is really great. And honestly, it targets, like you can search that as well on the website and on the app. And it starts really slow. Like the yoga for jiu-jitsu warm-up starts really nice and slow, moving into bigger and bigger movements. And my favorite part of it is it targets everything in 15, 20 minutes. And it makes my workout a lot better because it properly prepares the body for a workout. So whether it's jiu-jitsu, whether it's strength training, like it really properly warms up the body. And then after you can move into a bit of a cool down. And I found when I did proper cool downs after my strength training, just felt so much better, so much less sore even the next day. And that's because you're properly cooling the body down. Which makes me remember jiu-jitsu tournaments. You know, when you're going into jiu-jitsu tournaments and it's like 10 matches in a day, it's like, hey, all warmed up for the first one. And then you go in the bullpen for like an hour, come back, bullpen for an hour, come back. And it's like you go from being like really warm to really cold to really warm to really cold. And it's like, then you just don't care anymore and you just keep doing it. That just reminded me of that. It's amazing what our body can put up with and amazing what it can do. So really great questions. Keep sending them over. I feel like I'm on like Jeopardy or something. Today's class is great for beginners. And the focus is, honestly, I called it a feel-good flow because the focus is on unjamming everything. Like I just talked about, the spine tends to be like forward. So what we do in the yoga for boulders is work on just countering that. So it feels really good to do the opposite, right? Of arching the spine, making it long. Extension of the spine. Something not to really remember, don't need to. Next one is side stretches. So reaching the arm up and over. This feels really good because it targets through the whole side body, but also through the lower back. And Adam actually posted on our Instagram a video a little while back. You can see it. But the stretches specifically focus on even the side of the lower back, which can help with lower back pain because the back does take a lot of stress. So today we'll move through some really nice side stretches, and we'll also move through twists to unjam the spine. Because believe it or not, when we're in the same position all the time, it's really important to get the body moving in every single range of motion that it's meant to, that it can, because it's meant to move like that, right? So it's really important to move through those twists and stuff like that, because otherwise, if we're always doing the same thing all the time, the body thinks that's the way it's meant to be. So even with like jiu-jitsu or sitting forward, we are quite closed in and rounded forward very often, right? Like the shoulders are forward, the legs are bent. Think about it, last time you passed guard, whether you're standing or on the knees, or the last time you had someone in your guard, the last time you're on mount. And oh, very nice. Thank you. Thank you. The last time you're on mount. So everything's rounded forward. And when we're doing this a lot, the body and the fascia is like, because the fascia is memory, right? It's like, this is how it's meant to be. And we got to make sure it knows that. It's like, no, like, this isn't the way it's meant to be. Times this by 10 years, you know, us black belts. Times this by 10, 15, 20 years. We're going to be like old people over, and it's not healthy for the muscles, the ligaments, the tendons, everything. So it's really important just to balance that. And that's why when we do the yoga, and even today's sequence is really, really simple, really, it always feels good. After you do the stretching, it feels good because we are meant to be balanced, and we're balancing that forward everything to opening everything up. And that's what I love about the yoga too, is it also strengthens the back body, because we don't think about the back body very often. We're like, okay, let's work hamstrings. And it's like, what about the lower back, upper back, middle back? What about the glutes? What about just below the glutes? What about the calves? So it's really, really cool. I could probably geek out about it forever. And then in today's classes, like with the yoga for boulders, it's just those, well, in all of our classes, it's stretches put together in a specific way. So at the beginning of class, it prepares the body with specific stretches for stretching the same muscles in a different way or more intensely. So it's sequenced really carefully so everyone gets the most out of it. So some really, really cool stuff. And when people do, so really stiff, you can do yoga for boulders, and after that, move to favorite program, Yoga for Rocks. It's just absolutely unreal. So both of those are really great. All right, everybody, I am going to get ready for my live stream. So make sure to jump on the story, make sure to swipe up and join me. It will be 30 minutes, so join me for the 30-minute live stream. And if you miss it, you can just jump on the website. It'll be on the website too. We'll plug it into the Yoga for Boulders and the new releases. Otherwise, thanks for hanging out with me, and I will see everybody online or next time.